Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Makakadash, Tabalanasum to the apostles and elders of great millstone, peace and salutations unto the 144,000. Just want to dive into this quick lesson here of this post that someone sent me. It says Puerto Rico's governor signed a law that prohibits discrimination against people wearing afros, curls, locks, twist braids, and more. Right? Now, to some people, this may look like a good thing, but to me, through the spirit, this seems like this is just another distraction. This is just another distraction because I looked it up. Let me just bring it up for y'all. Alright, so this is basically what I found. Right, this is Jackson Lewis. Right, it says New Puerto Rico law prohibits discrimination in public services, employment, education, and housing based on protective hairstyles or textures often associated with specific racial and national origin identities, right? So obviously we know this targeting the black people, the so-called black people. Now, as I said, this may look like, something good, but to me this is just another distraction because meanwhile these heads around the world, especially in Babylon the Great and whatnot, getting ready to, face the end of the world, to put it simply. They're doing stuff like this, and then also it's like a target to us who preaching the truth, because we preach against stuff like locks and whatnot, as we saw here, right? Locks and braids and all these things. Now in America, braids is like the same as cornrows, right? So the main thing here is like locks, right? But then also, for the most part, right, we don't teach that men should have long hair, right? Because that's against the doctrine. Now we know this could target the women as well, right? So again, this is just like something to make the so-called black people feel good about themselves, as people care about us and this and that, and hey, these other nations, they don't care. Right, they don't care about us. And then furthermore, this guy looks like an Edomite, but who knows, right? Because Puerto Rico is where the Ephraimites are, the Northern Kingdom. So hey, the thing about it is, it's all said and done. As I said, I brought up the locks, right? Because first of all, locks is not even part of our culture, right? Because I will show you one. Just give me a sec here. This is what locks stem from, right? People think it's Rastafarian, but it's actually what? This is these Elamites, right? You see, this is Elamite customs. This is for their god, right? This is something Jake wanna pick up on. They don't even know the true meaning of it. Down here we call it Ras, That's what we call locks down here in the Caribbean. For the most part, I know about Jamaicans and Trinidadians, we say Ras, And I know in America and other places they will say locks or whatever, but right? This, one way or the other, is not our custom, right? I saw something here. Let me see what it says. Alright, and so like here, the Wi-Fi moving a little slow tonight. The weather kind of bad, so like it be messing with the reception. Right, so let's see what we have here. Right, it says blah blah blah, symbolism, cosmic symbolism of here. Symbolism of here, offering in Hindu traditions, Hindu cultural practices, right? Hinduism, historical perspective, Kundalini energy, right? So it's like everything is a vibration. You see that? Because this is what's going on here. It says Shiva is one of the most revered and mysterious deities in Hinduism. He is known as the destroyer, the transformer, the ascetic, the yogi, the dancer, the lover. He's also associated with many symbols such as the trident, the snake, the crescent moon, the third eye, and the bull. Among the symbols, one of the most distinctive, intriguing is his jata, right, or unkempt hair, right, which is the same locks, right. It says Shiva's jata is not just a physical feature but a rich and complex symbol that reveals many aspects of his nature, his power, and his relationship with the cosmos. In this article, we will be exploring the symbolism of the physiology of Shiva's jata using the concept of psychological, psychological, I don't think I pronounced that word correct, physiological, Salakia, transactional analysis as a tool to understand the deeper meaning behind this element. We will also examine the cultural context and historical perspective of Shiva Jatas as well as its relevance and implications to the modern world. Right? Now, this is something you can read up on yourself. I just want to touch on that and show, right? Because this is not our custom, right? But Jake don't like to read or research, so they would just see a style and follow it, right? But this is the locks that you all love so much, right? It's paganism, right? So again, if these people had us in their best interest, then something like this wouldn't even occur, right? As I said, this is just more or less a distraction to keep Jake in a bubble, right? So let me get this preset, right? So there's a preset here, Jeremiah 15:5. It says, "For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem, right? Or who shall bemoan thee, or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Thou hast forsaken me, said the Lord. Thou art gone backward. Therefore I will stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting. And I will fan them with a fan in the gates of the land, and I will bereave them of my children. I will destroy my people, since they return not from their ways." Right? So the point I was drawing here with this is, right, who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Right? Because none of these nations care about us. Right? So for a law like this to pass, it's something that, Jake will get excited for, because, they will tell themselves that, the government is standing for us. Right? Which leads to this scripture here that I have. Let me see here. It's actually in Sirach. Right? It said, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as a lion," actually Salakia, supposed to call out the precept. Right? This is Sirach 12 and verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." Right? So that's the thing. Right? Salakia. I was watching this brother's video. Right? But it says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shall be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away." Right? And that's so true, right? Because these devils, right, they even since in the garden, right, as Genesis 3:1 says, right, the serpent was the most subtle beast in the field. As I said, I believe that guy to be an Edomite, but one way or the other, even if he's of any other nation, he's still a demon, right? Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, right, the scripture says, "Never trust thine enemy," and was even one we read before, right? In the Jeremiah 15, it says, "Who shall have pity on thee?" These nations and them, they don't care about us, right? They don't care about us and don't trust them, right? So for them to pass a law like this is just another distraction to, take your eye away from the prize, right? Or the plan that they have in motion. Because I have some workers there on work, who from Venezuela. Now, we down here in Trinidad, we just call them Spanish, right? Which is the Northern Kingdom, right? We call them Spanish, right? So the Spanish and they're all excited because, a man president being voted out. I can't remember his name. He's being voted out, and a new president is coming in, and more or less, moreover, I should say, is a female, right? So I said, "Hey, mucho problema para tú," which means more problem for you, right? I basically was telling them that, hey, woman is more problem for you. She no like, right? Plenty period pain. She one button, boom, blow up everything, start plenty war, everything. And they started to laugh and they was thinking it's a joke, but through the spirit I know it's being serious because hey, I mean everything going according to the Lord first and foremost, but also the elites, right? So if it is the woman going in power, then hey, some like Queen Elizabeth, right? She was doing whatever she needed to do in that particular time frame, right? But at the same time, they still feeling that it's gonna be good, but we know everything is about to get worse, right? So it's all a distraction, right? Same thing with America, right? With Biden when he dropped out the race, and then you know, um, Donald Trump, they created a fake scenario of him trying to be assassinated, you know, and then Jake all pulling AK and stuff, pulling, yo, we vote for Trump like an ass. Hey, all these things are just distractions to, to get you prepared for what's coming because that same president, Trump, right, and then the lesser presidents in the Caribbean here, right, like the one in Venezuela and even down here and all these people who are about to get voted out and change and who stay in and all these things, right, they are the ones, right, that gonna bring in the heat, right? They putting on all this facade to make you think that hey, everything's gonna be okay now, right? We feed the people because Trump did something similar, right? He released people like Lil Wayne and I think Kodak as well out of prison and all these things and basically doing small favors for the nigger, right? For the niggers, right? To make them feel like if hey, we're on your side when they just using that as a narrative to deceive you, right, into thinking that hey, whatever I'm doing for you is for your best interest, right? Which is a fucking lie, because what they have in store for you, boy, oh boy, that would be the end of you, the death of you, the everything end of you. You understand? So again, Sirach 12:10, it says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." Right? That is the end of that. That is the end of that. So let's go here to this other precept I had in Psalm 55. Right? It says, let me see where to start. Yeah, I'll start from 21. Psalm 55 and 21. It says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer thy righteousness to be moved." Right? So at the point about it, this too, right? The devil, right? He using all his tactics, He basically emptying out his closet in terms of like letting go all his traps. He's making use of all his traps, right? The deception of the mind, right? Which is him using his media and all these things, and then he also bringing out all his big guns, doing all he can to keep himself in power, basically, right? Because these devils seeing the prophecies coming to pass, right? As we, the true prophets of the Lord, prophesying the downfall of this place, right? And they coming to pass. Hey, these bitches getting afraid, right? They're being more and more scared every day, right? So as it says in Revelation 12:12, the devil shall come down having great wrath, knowing that he had what, a short time, right? So it just goes to show that hey, these people on them, they letting out all their cards, they're showing all their hands, right? They're showing all their hands. So this deception thing, we shouldn't even let it, it shouldn't even be in our minds, right? But again, these traps will only capture the truth, they can't capture the elect, right? So when the Lord say, "Cast the burden upon him," right, and he shall sustain thee, he shall never suffer the righteousness to be moved, right? That's what we ought to do, right? Because I mean, stuff like locks and these kind of things, they're not for us to get, bugged out about, But as I brought up the incident with Trump and all these deceptions that these devils throwing out there, right? We have to cast our burden to the Lord, and keep on praying, right? Especially that temptation prayer, because the one of the biggest temptation and the biggest trap, right? The biggest trap that these devils gonna throw forth is that MOTB, right? That chip, right? So that is why we had to pray. We had to watch and pray, as it's saying in Luke, what was it? Luke 21:36. They say, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye are worthy to escape all these things. You understand? And that's what we want to do, right? We want to escape all these things, because these devils and them, they ain't playing, right? It says in verse 22, but thou, O power, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. Yeah. So let me see what else I had here. Right, I had 2 more precepts. Right. A quick one in James 4:7. It says, so humble yourselves before the Most High, resist the devil, and he shall flee from thee. Right, he will flee from you. Salakia. Right. So basically, right, this scripture self-explanatory. We had to resist the devil. And this is also for the new believers, new followers, who now learning. Resist the devil. Don't fall for the traps that he's setting out there. Simple things like these could catch a lot of people, especially people who trying to come into the faith, right? These demons and them, and they see that you're trying to do better for yourself in terms of, learning and upgrading in the spirit, right? More and more demons gonna try to come and attack you and make you feel, hey, because everybody has their own stumbling block, when they come into the truth. We even met a guy, right, who was learning. He was willing to learn, but as soon as he heard he had to cut his dreadlocks, right, he disappeared. We never saw him again. And that's how funny it is. So everybody has their own tripping stone. So even if it's a brother who just starting to learn and you have, dreadlocks in your hair or whatever it is, based upon the information that I showed, you could go use that same information, research it yourself, right? Research it yourself. Do it for the Lord, right? You ain't doing it for nobody but the Lord. You ain't doing it for me. You ain't doing it for the thing, right? You're also doing it for yourself, right? Because you're doing it to seek salvation and mercy from the Lord, right? So think about it like that, and don't like, stop you from, ask the Lord to put the Spirit on you to let it go. Ask the Lord. Nothing too hard for the Lord, right? So this is Luke 22:31, straight to the point. It says, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan had desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. And he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee, both into prison and to death. Right? And that is the mindset that we have to be in. Right? We had to pray that the Lord, because remember there's a scripture that says, how to roughly paraphrase it. Let me see if I can get it, because I don't want to butcher it. Right, this is Luke 10:20. Right, it says, notwithstanding in the rejoice not in this, notwithstanding in this rejoice not, that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. Right, and that is what we have to be excited for. Right, now we can't say if we have the elect or not, right, but just having that faith, and we moving, saying Lord willing in everything, right, because it's the Lord's will, right? As this same video that you all heard me clicked earlier by mistake, right, that I'm watching is the brother the Bash, right? His video is based upon what Shapa of the 12 is bugged out, bro, right? Because I saw that video and I clicked it immediately, because I was like, bro, Shapa is a bug out. Like, I know that was a couple days ago, but I completely missed that whole scenario. Like, so now I'm watching the videos about it to find out, what's exactly going on, right? But it just shows that the Lord has everyone, in their own luck, to put it simply, because everybody has their own mission, right? And the thing about it is that seeing these things should be scary to you, because just 1 minute you're on fire and the next day you're bugged the fuck out, right? That's why it says, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, because, bro, that's why we say Lord willing in everything, because it's a scary thing, right? Because I watched, like, a couple of videos from Chicago 12. I used to see the his community posts, I believe is what they call on YouTube, right? And I used to check out the videos he shared sometimes, the information he shared, and that's why it shocked me when I saw that, you know he's a bug out, basically, you know. So it's crazy how the Lord works. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His thoughts are way above ours. So, he has a reason for doing everything. But at the same time, it's to put fear in us and build our feet, because we don't want to be, slipping in a time like this. You know, because now it's crunch time. You know, so to be getting tripped up by stuff with these devils throwing out there, about discrimination against here and all these things, like bro, this is really something simple for tutors to be start bugging out over. Like, yeah, we y'all shouldn't be hating about our hair and all these sort of nonsense, right? Whereas these same niggas is the ones that wearing weave and braids and all these things in their hair, right? And the terminology for braids in our countries, when they're using the long false hair to braid it into their natural hair, right? I don't know how to really refer to it in America, but yeah, they use weave, braids, wigs, whatever, right? All these things they still put it in their hair, right? But anyways, as I said before, this is basically just a distraction, right? And we shouldn't be distracted by stuff like this, right? Prophecies rolling, and yeah. So for the new brothers and sisters out there, don't let stuff like this, as well as stuff like the Joe Biden situation, follow. This one supposedly or allegedly got his ear shut off, or piece of his ear shut off, right? And all these scenarios that they're trying to throw out there to distract us from, what's really about to come. Don't fall for it. Keep your eye on the prize. As I said, prophecies rolling, and soon we out of here. So again, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, double honor to the apostles and elders of great Stone, and shalom unto the elect.